everyone. Today I have something extremely special. Truly, today is a car that I don't think you're ever really going to see on the road. And if you do, consider yourself extremely lucky. The car I'm referring to is a 2022 Mercedes G63, but it's not just any G63. This is the 4x4², and this is all new for the 2022 model where they finally reintroduced it. Now, for those of you who know the vehicle, you know that they have done a 4x4² in the past. However, the big difference, of course, now being on the new platform, but it is not a G550. This is the full-fledged AMG with the big power. On that engine, you're gonna get the same type of power as you get on the regular G63, so 577. So I would say it's about 100 more than the outgoing 4x4². But what's most impressive to me anyway, is the fact that you can accelerate from 0 to 100 kilometers an hour in about 5 seconds. For a car that weighs basically 7,000 pounds, that's astonishing. It's like defying physics. Walk with me and I'll show you what's really, really cool and what makes the G63 4x4 so special. These are 22-inch wheels. They're 325, 55, 22. And of course, they have to be off-road mud tires. You get gigantic brakes with 6-piston calipers, and they're red brake calipers, so they really stand out. And you can really truly admire the size of the brakes when you look at the size of the actual wheel. But what's totally different about this one versus a regular G63 is really the amount of bolts you get on the car. So every Mercedes vehicle is basically going to have a 5-bolt pattern. This is the first time I actually get to see it in person, and it has 8 bolts. This is truly like a commercial vehicle. It's gigantic, and you could see truly how short I am compared to this monster, right? So I'm 5'11", and I look tiny. I mean, I'm basically height to height with the mirror. The regular G63, when you look at the actual fender, you can see where the line would end. So that's kind of indicating how wide a regular G63 is. And you can truly see that they had to extend the width of it by, I would say, about 2.5, 3 inches, just to accommodate the overall size of the vehicle itself. But what's most impressive is the ground clearance. So you truly do get from here to the floor, it's about 13.8 inches. That is truly very impressive when you talk about off-roading and you talk about ground clearance. What makes this car have so much ground clearance is the use of portal axles. When you take a look underneath the vehicle, you'll see it's truly a flat surface. So this is why I say when you look at the running board to the floor, that's really what you're gonna get in terms of ground clearance. This is the only car I've ever seen use portal axles, and frankly, when I saw the introduction of the old 4x4², I didn't even know portal axles were a thing. I didn't know you could do that, because every time I saw lifted trucks, lifted SUVs, and all that kind of thing, you always see, yeah, okay, they're super jacked up, but you don't really have that ground clearance, right? You still have your differentials there, your solid axles and all that stuff. So when I took a look at this when they first came out, it blew my mind. And then when I started reading about portal axles and getting into a bit more detail, it was truly very impressive, and it really helped me get a much better understanding of this. For those of you who don't know, to make it short and to make it simple, portal axles allow you to really tuck away all of the underpinnings of the vehicle to give it that added ground clearance. When we make our way to the rear of the vehicle, first thing that's gonna pop out at you, obviously, is the gigantic carbon fiber cover for the wheel itself, but you also get the giant wheel and this like safari looking bar to hold it all into place, because I can only imagine that this wheel has got to weigh maybe 120, 130 pounds. It's not light by any means. Don't be afraid though, because if you go to actually open the tailgate, it's not that hard. It's still very easy to manage and open, and what I love is the actual hinge, same as the regular G63, is magnetic, so I can hold it in any position and it holds. I don't have to worry about it swaying. What's impressed me though, when I actually take a look at the wheel itself is the same exact wheel that you find on the car, right? Whereas the other G63s and G550s will use a different type of wheel, but it's still gonna be a full-size spare, but it's a different wheel. This one's using the same one that's on the wheel, on the vehicle itself. And then of course, again, I'm gonna keep referring to the scale, but it's almost silly just seeing how high the actual load floor is on this thing. But it's like when you see it in person, it's so cool. I can't help but keep a smile on my face, right? The thing that you're gonna notice, the differentiator really, when we take a look at this versus other Gs is, well, 2 things. Of course, you're gonna have this giant wheel. You're gonna have the top lights, because given the overall height of the vehicle, it is mandatory to have those markers on there. And then the big thing is this right here. So Mercedes will put this bar here because the car is so high. In the event of a collision, this is basically going to help protect you and the people that have hit you, whereas if it wasn't there, it could potentially end a lot worse. The other cool thing, not necessarily exclusive to this particular G, but this ladder right here. So it's the first time I actually see this in person, and it actually surprisingly can hold a maximum weight of 220 pounds, right? What's cool about this is really where it gets to. You're gonna get to the ceiling of the vehicle itself, or the roof, and that roof plate is actually a metal plate as well, and it allows you to walk on it and be able to place your belongings and all that stuff. I, of course, am not gonna do that, but I can only imagine anybody who does, that'd be a kind of a cool experience. Just before we hop into the inside of the vehicle itself, really, you look at the roof, you actually see a lot more carbon fiber as well. Now, I did mention on the rear that you do have those mandatory markers on the top of the vehicle itself, just to kind of indicate to oncoming drivers, trucks, buses, all that thing, that you are a large vehicle and you're on your way. But you also get that same treatment on the front. And I personally love seeing that little orange indicators all the way around. And then of course you get the added design of the aggression with the LED bars. Now, follow me to the inside and I'll show you what makes the inside so special. First time I actually see it is the inclusion of a digital mirror. So you can actually have your analog mirror right here. So of course it's just your reflective surface, or I can have a fully digital mirror right there with the camera just pointing at the back so I can see a less encumbered view of what's behind me effectively. The inside of the vehicle, as I mentioned, is very standard G-Wagon. So this one here has the optional carbon fiber steering wheel, which I absolutely love. And it has the carbon fiber accents all around with the Bengal red interiors. Being a G-Class, you are gonna get massage seats, you get heated ventilated seats, you get LED lights everywhere with ambient lighting, of course. And the big thing, when you hop into one of these cars, it's not really a new car smell you're smelling, it's the leather. Because everywhere you touch and everywhere you look, the materials are absolutely top notch. Never experienced anything like this, and I don't think I ever will again. But this thing, I mean, like, wow. I can only imagine what this is actually like to drive on the road, because it is a truly impressive feat of engineering that Mercedes has done to be able to pull off such an incredible vehicle. Of course, I'd love to spend as much time as possible with this thing, but if you'd like to see more information on a car similar to this or any other performance SUVs, please feel free to check the link in the description box below, or please come by and I'd love to continue the conversation and potentially get you behind the wheel of something very similar. As always, my name is Michael. Thanks for watching.